It is a privilege to be the CEO of a large organization, of an organization that has as its shareholders all the citizens of the community. That's an awesome job. It's a lot of fun too, to tell you the truth. Every day I get up excited to come to work because, frankly, no day is the same as the day before. We have things that turn on to fires overnight based on what has happened the day before or what someone is called to tell us. So it's a really rapidly changing sort of day-to-day experience. But I love being responsible for results. And that's probably not uncommon for CEOs to drive for results. And the organization I am privileged to run is very much oriented in that direction. So we are all rowing in the same direction, and it's fun to be able to deliver that kind of accountability to the board and to the community. So we measure everything from soup to nuts for operational reasons, but then we decide which of these measures is the very best to communicate to our board, and we judge what that is based on how it conveys the fact that we are doing a good job with taxpayer funding. Well, when I came in, the board had established some priorities, very clear priorities about earning and retaining the community's trust and about providing excellent customer service at every interaction with an STA employee. And so those are things that I would aspire to in my own life. So I was able to embrace that wholeheartedly and go with it. So it involved a systematic approach to looking at our policies and our practices and the way we did business to see if we were earning and retaining the community's trust. And then you have to check whether you're doing that or not. So we began conducting annual community perception surveys, and we asked specific questions that included rating us on how well we manage our finances, how responsive we are to the public, as well as what kind of service do we provide, are our operators well-groomed and good drivers. And then we have a benchmark for how we're doing, and each year, fortunately, we've improved. We've been integrating what we've heard into how we do business, and now it is almost second nature to us to do things that way. Now, on the customer service side, that was an especially exciting project for me because I invited two CEOs from large transit systems in 2007 to come in and look at this agency and tell me what were we doing well and what were we not. I had some initial impressions as a business person, but I wanted to hear from the transit pros what they thought. And they told me what they thought we were doing well, and they told me what we were not doing well. And out of that, I fashioned a program called Quality Counts. And Quality Counts became an umbrella for all of the things that we would undertake to improve in those weak areas. For example, we were in the idea of being a good financial steward. When our main source of state funding went away, we continued to use vehicles long past a normal service life. And because we didn't hire any extra staff, we didn't have as many people as we needed to service the vehicles. So what the result was that the largest asset of this agency, and that is its fleet, was out on the road creating an impression about the organization that sent a message inconsistent with what we wanted, but completely consistent with what we were doing. And that's one of the things the peer review told me was, Susan, how can you expect the public to trust you with this money or more money at a future ballot if you don't take care of the assets that you have? I have worked with boards in the past, and my mantra, first and always, is no surprises. So if anything happens at the organization that is going to get in the news or that our board members need to know about, say a big accident or some news report purportedly uncovering something, I call every board member myself immediately and let them know what's going to happen. And I think that creates such a level of trust in them that they don't have to worry that they're going to be blindsided. I don't think we've had an occasion where the board has been blindsided since I've been here. So that's something we do, and I cascade that vision down to my own employees. I don't also want to be surprised, and I think most people want to know in advance. So the key for me with our board is regular communication, and that is informal and formal. It's meetings formally, it's coffee or lunch or phone calls, a lot about getting input from the board members on things that I'm working on or that I'm doing for the board to build their sense of engagement. Well, our state is probably in the same situation that many states are, and that is that our funding for transportation is inadequate. And in our case, in our state, the governor assembled a group of leaders from across the state, a lot of elected officials, and I was included as well, representing transit as the incoming chair of the State Transit Association, to create a solution for this to take to the legislature. Now, we all know that task forces sometimes really don't come up with anything that doesn't just sit on a shelf. It looks like this one may actually have some impact. Our assignment is to develop a list of principles or guidelines for selecting the investments over the next 10 years that would be funded by a new revenue source. That is, of course, a tax. But our current source of funding is maxed, and we have backlogs of projects to be done, and that is true in transit, in ferries, it is true in aviation, and across the transportation spectrum. So this group that I'm on is working on developing what is essentially going to become a revenue package for the next 10 years. And because the governor herself is chairing the task force, I think we're really going to make some headway.